Good morning. Welcome to UCC Longmont. My name is Whitney. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. It is a joy to welcome you to worship this morning. We are starting a series reflecting on how in our lives we often find that we make our journey on the road of faith by actually walking it, that we don't always know where we're going, and that requires courage, that we enter into a space of trust and courage, and as we walk in our ways of love and wholeness. Knowing that, we know that here in this community, in this space, we are all at different spots on our journey of faith. And here is a place where we find that we are always welcome, no matter where we are in that space. So we remind each other as we come together, no matter who you are, no matter where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. So throughout the summer, our services will be intergenerational. And so that means there are some things that are going to look a little different. We're experimenting a bit. And so I want to introduce you to our child-led prayer station, which is over here. And can I see the sample, guys, of what we're making? Oh, here it is. So this morning, our kids in the prayer station are making labyrinths. So they have plates, and they're watercolor painting onto a labyrinth that is pre-drawn on there. And this is a space in the sanctuary where the kids are leading us. One of the things we know about how Jesus led his community is that he said to let the little children come to me and let them lead you. Lead as they did, or follow at their lead. So if you would like to join them in this creation, we really encourage you to. So feel free to come on over and grab a seat, and they will show you what to do. And so you can come back and forth. Please feel free to move around. There are not infinite seats, so when you are finished, we invite you to go back to your seat so more people can join you, or can join in with what the kids are doing. Another thing that is going on today is it is Father's Day. Yahoo! I like that gets a clap. You guys are great. So in a moment, we're going to sing our first hymn. And this morning during that time, you're also invited to bring forward photos or mementos in celebration of those who have fathered you, are fathering you, or people who have that influence in your life, whether they're biologically or legally related or not. So those that lead you in that paternal, nurturing way. And so we honor here that fatherhood is a sacred path, and that there is often complex emotions on days like this, on Mother's Day, Father's Day, any of our days that we're acknowledging that path. Because for some of us, there's grief of a father that has passed on or that we're estranged from. And for some of us, there are grief of the desire to be a father and not yet having that role in our lives. So please know that no matter where you are, that you are held in love as we acknowledge and celebrate this day. So I invite you now to raise in body or spirit and sing with us number 187 from our sing hymnal, Lord, Prepare Me to Be a Sanctuary. Join with me in prayer. God, we give thanks today for fathers who showed up, played and danced, ran and twirled, taught and learned. For fathers who kissed boo-boos and held us in strong arms when we were weak. For fathers who believed in us and trusted us with our own futures, even as they taught us how to best live. For fathers who exhibited the very best of what it means to be men and tossed aside toxic masculinity in favor of a strength in love and empathy. For fathers who taught us rules to live by and with integrity lived by those rules themselves. For fathers who protected us and sought after our welfare. For fathers who were never related to us by blood or by law, but stood in as a father figure. God, we rest in your love, knowing that we call you Abba, Father, today and every day. Amen.
Friends, will you join with me in the call to worship, repeating the parts that are in bold? We are met in the presence of God. With Abraham and Sarah, with the saints of every age, we embark on our own journey of faith. God makes of us a great people. In the sanctuary of hope and the wilderness of doubt, we journey in the presence of God, and we say together, Amen.
Morning. Morning. My name's Kevin. I will be playing a piece called Sunflower by an Australian composer who plays this wonderful instrument, the marimba, named Adam Tan.
Thank you, Kevin, for sharing your gift with us. That was beautiful. Okay, friends, for today's text, I quickly noticed that I wanted a visual of a family tree as I read. So I figured that you might also. So in your bulletins, there is a family tree, and there's also one on your screen, complete with stock photos. So, our text today is Genesis 11:27 through 12:1. Now these are the descendants of Terah. Terah was the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran was the father of Lot. Haran died before his father, Terah, in the land of his birth, or Ur of the Chaldeans. Abram and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah. She was the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and Iscah. Now Sarai was barren. She had no children. Terah took his son Abraham and his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, his son Abram's wife, and they went out together from Ur of Chaldeans to go into the land of Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. The days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Now the Lord said to Abraham, "Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you." Do you see why I felt like I had to draw this? So, one of the beautiful gifts of seminary is that I have acquired a curiosity and a love for the messy humanity and complexity of the Bible. In the past, I would have completely glazed over at this. But I tend to see the Bible as a library of books of multiple genres, ranging from artistic stories and poetry to legal texts. Held as a whole, in our Bible, we see a love story of the people of God clumsily fumbling through life in relationship with a God that persistently abides with them, moves through them, and names them beloved. This story lives on in our lives today. God is still moving through us, persistently abiding with us and naming us beloved. Our stories and those that came before us move with a spirit-led power, both when they are told in their particularities of who we exactly are, and as a reverberating echo of the whole, the life of people in relationship with a loving God. Now, our text today wouldn't tell you all of that on its own. It sounds like a family tree. But it comes from the book of Genesis, which is an origin story of the people of Israel spanning from Adam to Joseph, the one with the coat of many colors. Biblical scholar Peter Enns talks about stories reflecting that the best stories shape our lives, precisely because as we read them, we are presented with reality and possibility. The characters and circumstances resonate with us because they are mirrors of our own story and remind us that we are not alone in our experiences. Story is a powerful vehicle for connection that we are wired for. Held as a whole, the book of Genesis is an origin story. And also, the stories in our Bible must be read with context. They pull us toward another world that we often don't fully understand. This world is often strange and dangerous, and in order to see anything through ancient eyes, we have to admit that our modern way of seeing might get in the way. Genesis is book 1 of the series known as the Pentateuch, or 5 scrolls. It includes Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Our Jewish siblings call these books the Torah, or law, because the climax of this story is when God, Yahweh, meets with Israel on Mount Sinai and gives them instructions on how to be God's people after delivering them from Egypt in the book of Exodus. The Israelites are camped out at Mount Sinai for more than half of the Pentateuch, marking this period as the center of the story, the event that everything is leading up to and everything from that point is reflecting on. Hence the name Torah, or law. This moment seals their identity as a people, in relationship, in covenant as God's people. The Torah, the Pentateuch, the entire story is hinging around the people of God coming into deep connection with God, discovering who they are and whose they are, and how to be in relationship. So, zooming back in from the Pentateuch to Genesis, Genesis moves us toward Jacob, who will go on to be renamed Israel, and his sons, who will become the patriarchs of the 12 tribes of Israel. Genesis is not a series of short stories with moral lessons, but rather a series of vital stepping stones in the broader story of the people of Israel. Our text today, though it seems to be merely a family tree, is a crucial point in that big, broad story. Scholars often divide the book of Genesis into 2 movements, books 1 through 11 and books 12 through 50. Our text today is on the transition point between the 2. Ancient Israelites didn't have chapters or verse numbers. Those were added centuries later by Christian monks wanting to give us a way to navigate through the text and communicate about it, to tell someone, hey, I'm looking at this point. Instead of chapters, the ancient text introduced new sections with the phrase that is variously translated into English as, this is the account of, or these are the descendants of. So no matter how it is translated into English, it shows up in the same way in the Hebrew phrase. And we can see it 10 times in the book of Genesis. So even though our text today moves from the end of chapter 11 to the beginning of chapter 12, it's actually the beginning of one of these sections of natural transition in the origin or in the original Hebrew text. So, with all of that said, what are we transitioning from and to? And why does that matter? Genesis 1 through 11 is an opening sequence that grabs our attention and provides a setting for the story. After leaving the Garden of Eden, the people of God are set against a bleak backdrop of tragedy and chaos. We have Cain murdering Abel, Noah and the great flood, the Tower of Babel. All of this destruction, confusion, and disconnection builds to the threshold of this point, a hinge in the story, where Abram is called to take a brave step into a liminal unknown. He is told to go. Now, that was a lot of information. And so in case anyone checked out and started making mental grocery lists, the recap is in your bulletin and also up here on the screen. Okay, so we have these bigger themes. The Bible is telling the whole story of the people of God in relationship with God. We have the Pentateuch, which is this smaller section inside of the Bible, inside of the Old Testament. We have Genesis, which is inside of the Pentateuch, which is the origin story of this all. And then we have Abram and his own particular story. Abram, from this point, he doesn't know this yet, but he and his line will go on to become the people of Israel, who will be at Mount Sinai throughout the Pentateuch, looking for covenant, looking for relationship with God, which eventually will bring us to Jesus. Which brings us back to this whole context of the Bible being a love story between God and God's people. What was that? Thank you. So, coming back to Abram at the center. Imagine a movie montage of this violence, of this destruction, confusion, and disconnection, as we have seen in these first 11 books of Genesis, followed by a seemingly insignificant refugee who moved with his father and his family to a foreign land. He doesn't have children or any other trappings of success of the time. Somehow, in his insignificance, Abram's also foreign God finds him in this foreign land and tells him, defying all logic, to go. This is the moment that changes everything in Israel's story. So this moment is not unlike one on our screen here in a moment that may feel more familiar to us. In the origin story of Spider-Man, the nerdy, awkward teenage Peter Parker is on a school field trip taking pictures for the school newspaper or maybe yearbook, I don't remember, when he is bit by a radioactive spider. In the hours and days following the spider bite, Peter goes through a vast range of emotions, from terror to elation. He is flooded with questions and doubt about how being set apart, about how being changed is messing with his life. In our text today, God says, Abram, go from your country and your kindred and your family and your father's house to the land that I will show you. Just imagine what it would be like to be Abram. I imagine him asking, really? God, I have some clarifying questions. Didn't we already do this? I mean, Dad just moved us. Where are we going? What am I supposed to do there? For God's sake, why? Can you just tell me why? Are you sure you can't give me a plan? Do you want me to make a plan? I'm good at that. I can make plans. No. No plan? God, I know you love me. I can feel it in my bones in a way that is unshakable. But can I trust this decision or this feeling to do something so foolish? Can I turn my whole life upside down and walk away from all I know and love for you? Can I do all of that for what I know to be true in the stillness with you? You see, I fall pretty easily into that wrestling and doubt thing. Most of us do. None of that is in our passage today explicitly. Yet, it lives in our lives. I started realizing just how shared this experience is during one of my final seminary courses. A collection of us ready to graduate in just a few weeks and step into our calls reflected on that threshold that we stood on the complexity of our call to go. I was struck by how, for each of us, our call felt abstract and paradoxical and, pushy, or maybe pulling like a gravitational force. In effort to contain our experiences, we started turning to metaphors of the discomfort of an acute fever or the comfort of clothing that fits perfectly. We invoked the paradox of a bold whisper. We identified that our calls were not static, but that they seemed to expand and contract within us between moments of ease and discomfort, that they were both growth and liberation. At times, one of my classmates said, "It is clear and insisting, go there. That is where you will be," insert colorful language here, free. That conversation with my colleagues happened to be just a few days before the weekend that I was called to you all. The morning after you voted to affirm me, I wrote that Spirit seems to write symphonies for me. This conversation was a moving crescendo that made sure that I was awake, that every nerve ending, every cell of my being was ready for the shift in my life coming in those next few days. That was you all. I suspect that this call lives in the lives of many of you as well. It is the build-up to the moment that you make a brave choice to affirm who you are. It is the courage to pursue a dream, to walk away from a role that isn't fulfilling. That first moment that you hold your child. It's a moment that's drenched in love and the enormity of the sacred task of parenting. One of my professors also wrote a beautiful theology of gender-affirming care, and that is being a courageous action of stepping into call. These things are sacred when we find courage, when we find just that one next right step. In the stillness of our hearts, God whispers, "Go," to each of us in our own way. No matter who you are, no matter where you are on life's journey, God is still with you, still speaking to you, inviting you, loving you. Amen.
Friends, will you rise in body or in spirit and sing Deep in the Shadows of the Past, which you can find in your New Century hymnal number 320.
Join with me in the spirit of prayer. God, who walks with us on every step of our journey, we acknowledge that the unfolding of the lives of faith we co-create with you are not simple, linear, straight lines. In the spiral and spectrum of our unfolding, we practice resurrection. You, God, delight in the particularity and the complexity that each of us embody. There is nowhere where we could go where your love would not journey with us. At times, we feel led to take steps where that very next step is the only one we can see. In these moments of uncertainty, we meet our fear. Here we remind one another that we are beloved, even in our fear. In this moment of silence, God, we invite you into our hearts. May we know our fear. I'm not good at this bowl. God, as each of us discern our next step, we carry with us the awareness that you continually pursue each of us in the stillness of our hearts and in the care of others. In this moment of silence, God, help us to open to see and receive your love. Remind us that in these moments of who we are and whose we are, despite our fear, may we also know our faith. The transformative power of your love, burning in each of us and flowing through community, brings us the capacity, creativity, and courage to move in faith, stepping into our fear with new eyes. In this moment of silence, God, may we open to see the world through your creativity, through your awe and unshakable love. Show us the transformative power of our next right thing. May we know our courage. Again, we remind one another, no matter who you are, no matter where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. Amen.
Good morning. I'm Barbara Noblin, and I'm a member of the Church Council. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm happy to see all of you today. Welcome. A very special welcome to visitors and guests, and a warm welcome back to those who haven't been here for a while. We're so glad you're here. Join us in room 10 on June 26th, next week, 2025, from 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we assemble bags for the Born to Read program. Your help will make a difference in encouraging early literacy and brightening a child's reading journey. We'd love to have you with us. Join Whitney on Sunday, June 22nd for tending our family fire from 5 to 8 p.m. The evening will feature a taco bar meal, camp-style activities for kids, parent circle, and a closing campfire with s'mores. All are welcome, even if you don't have kids. Please RSVP to Whitney today so we can plan accordingly for food. The children's worship room will be getting a fresh coat of paint this summer. Join us after church today or next Sunday to write blessings on the walls. How often do we get to write on the walls? Your blessings will be shared with our kids at the Tending Our Family Fire event next Sunday. If you would like to support UCC Longmont financially, you can give online at ucclongmont.org/giving or use the offering boxes on the back wall of the sanctuary. We are grateful for your generosity.
As we hear the story in the Bible, we begin to see that the call to go is not just to go, but to go in peace. And so it is that as Christians, we are always learning how to be out there standing side by side with those who are holding space for peace. And we do that because we practice doing it here. And one of the ways that we practice doing it here is by getting to know one another. And so in this time of passing the peace, turn to one or two people who are near you to offer a sign or symbol of peace. It might be a peace sign. It may be a handshake. It may be a hug, if that is comfortable for you. And for those of us joining us online or from home, send peace to those near you in your house. You can wave at your camera. We will feel the energy here. Go in peace. Greet one another in the name of Christ. We have had a bit of a different rhythm in the worship service this morning, haven't we? We are missing Lauren for the summer. I know it is always a tricky transition when we lose her beautiful voice leading our hymns. This next one is one that many of us know well. And so as you continue to hold the message of going, will you stand in body or in spirit as is comfortably available to you today and join in singing Here I Am, Lord, which is in your bulletin or on your screens. Friends, as you go out into the world to continue claiming your place in the family tree of God, stand boldly. You have been sent, and you are equipped for the path that comes. As you walk, know that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, the presence of God watches over you, and wherever you are, God is. Go in peace.
Oh my goodness, so fast. Whoa, that is so cool, dude. And you made a purple one? You guys are good artists. That is awesome. Green and purple, your two favorite colors.
Those are my two favorite colors.
Thank you, Addie. That was amazing how well everybody did. Yeah.
Well, I want to let you know that I have a card
Oh, thank
from
you.
the choir, and I
I'm
forgot.
sorry I couldn't make it.
That's okay. We missed you, but I.
Oh, don't worry about it.